Welcome to another episode of Let's Think About It with Dr. E. I first want to tell you thank you for tuning in to today's episode. But if you have not, go right now and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Erica Hendricks. You're only going to catch this podcast on my YouTube channel. So let's dive into today's episode. We're in full effect into season 2, and it's been an amazing season. But today, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, being that I'm in the ministry. I've just been noticing some trends on social media that's been disturbing. And I know there's been a lot of back and forth about thus saith the Lord. And I know some of y'all probably say, oh no, she's not. She really, yeah, I'm going there today. Because I'm wondering, and I know many of you all have, does God really operate in some of these spaces and places that we say that the Lord said? It disturbs me that when you see people who say God's calling them in ministry and you having a full-out argument on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. The only difference between now and 2,000 years ago, they didn't have social media. It may have taken 2 or 3 years for news to travel to get to someone. But now we can get the news just like that. So in today's episode, it's not just about commentary. It's a call. We're asking the hard question, who stole our prophetic fire? Somewhere between trending sermons on TikTok, call-outs, the black church prophetic voice has gotten silenced. Or worsened, it is commercialized. It's not about shame. It's about an awakening. So let's think about it. What did we lose? Or what will it cost us to get it back? Prophetic voice or public shade? Think about that question. Some of what's being called prophetic on social media is just spiritualized beef. Let's just call it what it is. We have replaced fasting and consecration with clapping back on Instagram, on Reels, on TikTok. And the real prophets don't go viral for drama. They got killed for telling the truth. In the Bible, they got stoned to death. Their heads were cut off. So they didn't go viral. They were killed because of what the truth they told. And so whenever you're spewing out of your mouth that if you don't do this, the Lord's going to kill you, the Lord's going to do this. Now, I believe this. If God gives you a word from me, come to me. It's not meant for the whole social media world. God never operates like that. God set warnings, but he also does everything in decency and order. And I often tell people this. The Bible is very clear. It says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So whatever venom you are spewing, you will get that back. So I'm going to give you 2 scriptures. I'm going to back this up with scripture because I don't want you to think I'm just pulling this out my hat and we're doing, I'm waving a magic wand. I'm just going to give you some fluff. Ephesians 4:29 said, let no corrupt talk come out of your mouths, but only what builds up. Proverbs 18:21 says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Are you prophesying or performing bitterness in the name of Jesus? Some of y'all prophet lying. Some of you are saying God said and he didn't say. And I believe I can sit in this seat and speak this boldly, having been in ministry for 30 years, in the preaching ministry for 30 years. So I think I've learned a little something in these 30 years about when God gives you something, when the Lord begins to speak to you. You've got to do it within love. You got to do it in a place that people can receive it. Now, I have come to find that many of those individuals that are prophesying and saying God said on their social media, they are hurt. They're wounded. And some of them got hurt by people in the church, by the pastor, by the deacon, in leadership. And I understand that because the church didn't hurt you. People hurt you. So for you to bring an indictment on the church, I need for you to revisit that and to really think about the people who hurt you. Some of those people that I've been looking at on social media, they're wounded. Some of them need therapy. Some of them really need to sit down. And I have to ask the question, where are their friends? Like, do they not have real friends that's going to call them out and say, listen, sis, you're doing too much. You really need to go somewhere and just sit down, because all this you're doing, and I know what it is, it's driving their algorithm up, because y'all running to their page. Every time they go live, you go into their YouTube channel. Every time they go live on IG, and all it's doing is, guess what? It's making them money, because you run into them and you drawing that, you making the numbers go up. So some of them live for this, but it's disheartening, because I feel like it is an indictment against the church, because God is looking for real, authentic people that are not trying to build a name for themselves, but that really that love the Lord and say, I really want to do with the work that God has called me to do, but God, show me how to do it right. That is where I feel like we've lost our voice. The other thing that I feel a lot of people are doing, they're trying to reclaim the mic. Mic drop. So they're trying to go back and pick up the mic. At some point, we need prophets who will speak with broken hearts, not bloated egos. See, whenever you are broken, you can speak to someone else's broken. Because guess what? You can begin to heal from somebody else's story. I often tell this story when I preach. It was in year 18 of my ministry that I decided I was going to walk away. I was tired. I was simply just burnt out from church people. Not the church, but people. I was simply tired of everything that had been going on in church. And I'm like, and God, is this really what it's about? You called me to ministry, to do the work of ministry, to help people. But I'm finding myself in a stuck place. I'm finding myself where I don't feel like I'm being effective. And God simply said to me these words, Erica, you're tired because you got off the plan. And I said, okay, God, what? I thought I was doing the plan. And then God began to speak to me about the plan that he told me 18 years prior to that I veered away from because I got off the plan. Now I know everybody, they're not going to be transparent with you. They're going to tell you they did everything right in their 30 years of ministry. They're going to tell you they preached everything right. They done everything right. I'm not one of those people. I'm going to tell you, in these 30 years of ministry, I've not always followed God. I've thought I've done what God wanted me to do, only to find out sometimes I was not doing the right thing. I feel like sometimes I got in my own flesh and said some things I wanted to say from the pulpit. I know everybody's not going to talk this, but I'm going to be honest. But the thing that I love about God is he gave me grace to get it right. He graced me to get it right. And I feel like some of us are really in a place where we want to do ministry the right way, but we have to contend with people trying to reclaim the mic. Just because you slap, thus saith the Lord, on it doesn't mean it came from heaven. A true prophetic word builds up even when it's challenging. The truth is going to hurt. When you don't want to hear it, it's going to hurt. Did you ever tell your mother tell you, this hurts me more than it hurts you? I hate to give you this beating, this whooping. I hate to put you on punishment. This hurts me more than it hurts you. And I used to say to her, but nah, this is really going to hurt because I'm going to have to get a spanking. Now, I know in the African-American culture, we call it a whooping. Some cultures call it a spanking. But we got the rod. But guess what? It made us better. And so I realized that sometimes when God has to beat you over the head, when he's got to pull your shirt tail, when he got to say, hey, you veering too far to the right, far to the left, it don't always feel good. But it's going to work together for your good. Follow the plan. And God will do what he promised he's going to do for your life. Ministry is not easy. It's not. Because you have to walk people from the womb to the tomb. I've been there. I've had to walk families for pulling children off of life support. I've been there with families when the doctor said, I've done everything else we can do. I've been there when people have been healed. I've watched God work miracles. I've seen God walk people through some of the toughest seasons of their life, and I've watched God do it. But those are the hard moments. But the moments of celebration is when you see God perform his word, and you see God say, hey, listen, look what, and you can only say this is only done because of the grace of God. God did this, not me. So when I see God move in places and spaces, I'm looking like, God, I don't know how you're going to do this. Even me, I'm confounded. Like, God, this is a tough case. How are you going to do this? And when you see God turn it around, and then you begin to see, God, this truly was a miracle, then you can say, God, I understand why I had to go through the valley. I understand this dark place that I was in, that it worked together for my good. I understand, God, that my voice still matters even in the midst of chaos. And those are the people that God is looking for. He's looking for people that are not ashamed of the gospel. He's looking for people that are not ashamed to stand up boldly for what is right and proclaim the truth in the gospel of Jesus Christ. But he's not looking for people that want to showboat. He's not looking for people that want to be proudful and prideful. He's not looking for people that's trying to build a brand. He's not looking for that. Because if you do the work that God sent you, whatever doors God has required for you to go, and whatever opportunities he has for you, you'll walk into those doors. 1 Corinthians 14:3 says, but the one who prophesies speaks to the people for their strengthening, encouraging, and comfort. Matthew 7:16 says, you will know them by their fruit. I pose the question, are you a fruit inspector? Or is your only opportunity is to look at the fruit and tear it down? So you ever been somewhere and you looked up and you saw fruit on a tree? We were in Cancun, and I wanted to pick a coconut off the ground. They were falling. And I got ready to pick it up, and the groundskeeper came running over. He's like, no, ma'am. You cannot pick up the fruit. It's illegal. I said, well, it's on the ground. He said, no, you have to leave it there. He said, because they have people that come and pick the fruit, and they take it to the resorts, and that was part of the game. So I felt like I could just pick this up. And then I was somewhere else, and I saw an orange. I wanted to pick it up. And it's like, no, ma'am, you can't pull it from the tree. It's not ready. It's not ripe. Some of you all are trying to pick fruit that doesn't belong to you. You're trying to do something that God never intended. Stay in your lane. So I want to pose some questions for reflection in this episode. How do I define prophetic voice today? Is it rooted in truth-telling or trend-chasing? Number 2, have I become silent in the face of injustice because it's more comfortable? Number 3, when I share difficult truths, do I do it with the spirit of restoration or retaliation? Number 4, what prophetic voices have shaped me? And do I resemble their courage or their character? Number 5, is my ministry or platform more concerned with being liked than being faithful? God is looking for faithful people. He's looking for people that are not ashamed. So for those of you that are saying, is she the prophetic voice? No, but I feel like I am a voice. I feel like that God will use my voice in the prophetic at times. But for those of you that have called yourself, that you say God's called you, re-examine your gift. Re-examine the call. I pray that God would reignite the fire that once burned in the souls of those who spoke the truth in love. I pray that you will ask God to forgive you for using your voice to wound people instead of to warn them, instead of building them up. Let the fire illuminate, not incinerate. This is a plea and a cry to whoever has stolen your prophetic voice. Ask God to give it back to you today. I believe in this season, God is raising up women and men that will declare the word of the Lord. And I believe in our church, especially in the African American church, we've got to stop tearing each other down. And we've got to come together in a spirit of unity and a spirit of community and build in love. Because whatever God is doing in this season, he's going to do it through you and I. But you must first become a willing vessel and not ashamed of what God's called you to do. I'm in the marketplace ministry, but I believe even in my field of mental health, God can still use me to be a voice. So it doesn't matter your vocation. Doesn't matter your calling. Lean in. Your voice matters in this season. I just need for you to understand, if you have lost your voice, ask God to show you where to get it back. And if you've lost it in the church that you belong, maybe that's not the church for you. I know people won't tell you this. They'll tell you tough it out. Every place is not for everybody. Sometimes your church may be the online church. It may be in the virtual space. It may not be in the physical space. But wherever you find it, find a voice that will minister to you. But if you are the prophetic voice, I need for you to go back and ask God, say, what did you call me to do? What did you call me to say in this hour? And become that voice. We've been loud, but not always clear. We've called people out, but not always called them up. The prophetic voice was never about ego. It was about equity, healing, justice, and truth. Black church, the mic is now back in your hand. Let's stop chasing clout. Start chasing conviction. Until next time, think deeply, speak boldly, and love radically. If no one's told you today, let me be the first to tell you I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Live life and live life on purpose. Have an amazing day.